It's something most men don't openly admit, but deep down, many secretly regret their nightly routines. The truth is, your evenings can be the most telling part of your day. You spend hours winding down, preparing for sleep. But what if that time is actually causing more harm than good? What if, after all this time, you've been unknowingly sabotaging your own well-being? You see, most men go through their nightly habits without thinking too much about it. You finish your work, grab some dinner, maybe watch a show, scroll through your phone, and then finally go to bed. But what if I told you that these seemingly harmless routines are quietly affecting your mental health, your physical well-being, and your happiness? The problem is, so many of these habits become second nature, and we don't even realize the impact they're having until it's too late. For most men, their evening routines are where they hit the reset button. They believe winding down with a few beers, zoning out in front of the TV, or diving into the endless scroll of social media is the best way to relax after a long day. But the truth is, these relaxing activities are often just distractions from deeper issues. Over time, you may find yourself in a cycle where you're simply going through the motions without ever addressing the real causes of stress, fatigue, or dissatisfaction. If you stop and think about it for a moment, your nightly routine is setting the tone for how you start your next day, how well you sleep, and how much energy you'll have to face whatever challenges come your way. But for many men, this time is wasted. It's easy to brush it off as a way to unwind, but what if it's actually keeping you stuck rather than helping you recharge? That's exactly what we're about to explore, how so many men secretly regret the nightly routines they've unknowingly fallen into, and how these habits are quietly shaping their lives in ways they might never expect. Do you find yourself doing the same thing every night without thinking? Maybe it's scrolling through your phone for hours or sitting in front of the TV. It feels comfortable, right? But here's the thing. The comfort quickly turns into exhaustion. You're going through the motions, getting ready for bed, maybe watching a show, and hitting the pillow. But that comfort is just a temporary distraction. The cycle becomes draining. What was once a relaxing routine can slowly wear you down. You tell yourself it's just a small part of your day. But over time, that mindless routine eats away at your energy. What you thought was a break has turned into a slow burn of dissatisfaction. You might not even realize it, but your nightly routine has become predictable, mundane, and in many ways, you're on autopilot. And here's the kicker. The more predictable it becomes, the more it starts to drain you emotionally and mentally. It's easy to think of it as just the way things are. After all, you've been doing it for months, even years, right? But here's the truth. Every single night, you're quietly setting yourself up for a cycle of stagnation. It's almost like you've fallen into this trap, believing that it's normal to watch your favorite shows and endlessly scroll through social media to wind down. Sure, it feels good in the moment, but what happens the next day? You feel sluggish, unmotivated, and often wonder why you're still so tired despite getting a full night's sleep. That's because your nightly routine isn't giving your brain or body the real rest they need. Instead of truly unwinding, you're just going through the motions, feeding into a habit that provides no real satisfaction. We all have a version of the wind-down routine that we think helps us prepare for a restful night. But the truth is, most of us are stuck in a cycle of exhaustion and dissatisfaction without realizing it. You might justify it by saying, well, at least I'm not working or stressing over stuff. But is that really all we want for ourselves? To simply not be stressed? Or do we want to feel like we've used our evenings in a way that actually contributes to our well-being? The problem with a mindless routine is that it never gives you time to process your day, reflect on how you're feeling, or truly relax. Instead, your brain continues to churn through stress and worry, even as you try to numb it with distractions. And let's be honest, whether it's endless TV binging or doom scrolling on social media, the so-called relaxation we get from these habits is superficial at best. The moment you put your phone down or stop watching that show, you realize that the relief is temporary, and the stress you thought you left behind is still there. It never really went away, and it keeps building up over time. This is where the exhaustion starts to hit. The next day, you're still carrying that emotional baggage with you, even though you think you've put it to bed. It's like your brain never gets the real rest it needs. And the worst part, you don't even realize it's happening because it's so easy to fall into that routine. It's comforting in the moment, but over time, that same comfort turns into a drain. This predictable pattern of behavior doesn't just affect your mind, it also impacts your body. You've probably noticed that as you fall deeper into your evening routine, your body starts to feel the effects too. You're not getting restful sleep, even though you're spending hours lying in bed. Instead, your body is exhausted in ways that don't seem to make sense. You wake up groggy, sore, or feeling like you didn't sleep at all, even though the clock shows you've gotten a solid 8 hours. That's because your body doesn't just need time in bed, it needs restorative, quality sleep, and your nightly habits are getting in the way of that. Think about it. How often do you sit in front of a screen, late at night, maybe scrolling through social media, or watching one more episode of a show? The blue light from the screen messes with your body's natural rhythm, disrupting the release of melatonin, the hormone responsible for making you feel sleepy. It's a small thing, but over time it starts to affect how your body prepares for sleep, leaving you feeling restless and unsettled when you should be winding down. This is where the exhaustion begins. It's not just your mental state, your physical body is tired from the strain of these habits, and it's not recovering the way it should. And then there's the routine of grabbing that late-night snack or drink, whether it's junk food or a nightcap, to help you sleep. Again, in the moment it feels good. You tell yourself, it's my time to relax. I deserve this. But what you don't realize is that those snacks and drinks are actually making it harder for your body to rest and recover. Heavy meals or alcohol late in the evening disrupt your sleep cycle and can lead to feelings of sluggishness the next day. You might think you're soothing your body, but you're actually setting yourself up for a harder time sleeping, leaving you feeling unrefreshed in the morning. As you continue this cycle, you start to notice the toll it's taking on you. Your energy wanes, your mood dips, and you start to feel more like you're going through the motions of life instead of actually living it. It feels like a slow burn, doesn't it? You're not seeing any drastic changes, but over time this routine starts to wear on you in ways that are hard to ignore. It's not just that you're tired, you're drained, emotionally and physically. The exhaustion builds up and it becomes harder to escape the cycle because it's become so ingrained in your day-to-day life. So where does this leave you? Well, the truth is, this comfort isn't really comforting at all. It's a temporary fix that doesn't address the deeper issues you're facing. This repetitive cycle is leaving you with more regret than relief, but you're stuck in it because it feels like the easiest solution. What's happening here is subtle, but it's powerful. You think you're winding down, but in reality, you're setting yourself up for a future of exhaustion, emotional distance, and dissatisfaction. It's time to ask yourself, how much longer do you want to keep living in this cycle? How much longer do you want to wake up feeling like you didn't get the rest you truly need? The truth is, most men don't even realize the toll these nightly habits take on their well-being. But once you're able to step back and acknowledge it, you can begin to break the cycle. It's not about perfecting your routine or overhauling everything at once. It's about recognizing that these small, seemingly insignificant habits are adding up, and the result is a draining routine that needs to change. The good news: it's never too late to make small adjustments and take back control of your evenings. You can break free from this exhausting cycle and replace it with routines that nurture your mind and body, leaving you refreshed and ready to take on tomorrow with energy and focus. But first, you have to recognize the habits that are holding you back. Here's where things get more serious. Your nightly routine isn't just affecting your body, it's taking a toll on your mind. The stress of your workday, the pressure to keep going, and the constant noise of the world around you start to creep into your evenings. You've convinced yourself that zoning out with Netflix or checking emails one last time is helping you unwind. But what you're really doing is neglecting your mental health. Every night you ignore the fact that your mind needs rest. True, uninterrupted rest. The anxiety you don't address before sleep seeps into your dreams. And over time, that builds into a bigger problem. If you don't give yourself space to unwind mentally, you'll start to feel the weight in ways you didn't expect. The truth is, the human brain doesn't just turn off when you go to bed. It's working, even when you're trying to sleep. That's why your brain needs downtime. Not just physical rest, but a mental break. If you're spending your evenings in a haze of distractions, checking emails, scrolling through social media, mindlessly watching TV, you're not giving your brain the opportunity to process and unwind. You're essentially numbing it, hoping that by distracting yourself you can temporarily escape the stress and demands of the day. But when you wake up, Those stresses don't just disappear, they follow you into the next day, and the cycle repeats itself. You may not realize it, but this mental exhaustion builds up over time. It's like carrying a backpack full of weight each day. When you don't take the time to unload it, the load just keeps getting heavier. Your mind is constantly processing information, solving problems, and holding on to worries, even when you're trying to relax. But without proper mental care at night, you're not allowing your brain to reset. It's left to churn through the chaos of the day, and when you wake up, you feel like you're already behind before the day has even begun. This isn't just about feeling tired. It's about the mental clutter that's never fully cleared. Think about the times when you've gone to bed feeling restless, unable to stop thinking about work, a conversation that didn't go well, or the million little things that have piled up. That mental chatter keeps you up, makes your sleep less restorative, and affects how you feel when you finally wake up. The lack of mental rest creates a ripple effect that impacts everything: your mood, your productivity, and your overall health. Here's another thing that's happening. The stress you accumulate during the day doesn't just stay in your mind, it starts to manifest physically. You might feel a tightness in your chest or a headache that lingers into the next morning. That's because your mind and body are deeply connected. When you don't manage your mental health at night, you set yourself up for a physical response the next day. The longer you go without addressing this, the more it builds up until you're caught in a loop of feeling physically drained and mentally overloaded. And guess what? That leaves you stuck in your nightly routine, trying to numb the discomfort with more distractions. But there's another layer to this, something you may not have considered. Mental fatigue can create a sense of emotional distance from the people around you. When you're constantly processing stress and worry and never giving yourself the space to reset, you find it harder to engage in meaningful relationships. You're so tired and drained from your day that you avoid deeper conversations, avoid dealing with tough emotions, and even avoid spending time with those you care about. Instead of connecting, you retreat into distractions, thinking that they will give you the space you need. But in reality, they only serve to reinforce the emotional distance. The sad truth is that many men fall into this trap, thinking that their distractions, be it TV shows, social media, or late-night snacking, are the answer to their mental exhaustion. But they're not. They're just temporary reliefs. Sure, in the moment, they provide a brief escape, but they don't allow you to deal with the underlying stress. In fact, these habits often make things worse, as they keep your mind in a constant state of alertness. Even while you're relaxing, your mind can never truly rest if you're constantly feeding it new information, or allowing it to dwell on unresolved issues. You might not realize how much this is affecting you until it starts to show up in your daily life. Ever notice how you wake up feeling just as mentally drained as you were the night before? You might try to push through the fog, but the lack of rest leads to poor decision-making, emotional outbursts, or simply feeling like you're going through the motions of life. That sense of feeling disconnected or unmotivated doesn't come out of nowhere. It's the result of years of neglecting your mental health during the evening hours. This kind of burnout is insidious. You might not even notice how bad it's gotten until it hits a tipping point. Perhaps you start experiencing anxiety that seems to come out of nowhere, or maybe you find yourself snapping at loved ones over things that wouldn't normally bother you. The emotional toll of not managing your stress properly piles up, and soon it affects everything. It affects your relationships, your work, and even your sense of who you are. The stress that you fail to address at night builds walls between you and the people around you, and it creates a constant cloud of anxiety hanging over your head. Here's the real kicker. This isn't something that just happens once, it's a cycle. Every night, you repeat the same patterns, avoiding your thoughts, distracting yourself, and never truly allowing your brain to process the stress of the day. And each time you do this, it's like adding another brick to the wall of stress and fatigue that will only grow higher and heavier. But what if you could break that cycle? What if instead of numbing yourself with distractions, you made a conscious decision to engage in a routine that truly supports your mental health? What if you took the time to reflect on your day, let go of the stresses, and created a peaceful mental space before sleep? You see, mental rest is just as important as physical rest. If you don't give your mind the chance to relax, it won't matter how many hours you spend in bed. You won't wake up refreshed, and you'll continue feeling the weight of the day hanging over you. The key to breaking the cycle is recognizing the importance of mental recovery. Just like you make time for your body, you need to make time for your mind. This means setting aside the distractions, taking a moment to process your thoughts, and giving yourself permission to let go of the day's stress before hitting the pillow. It's time to make a change. Stop feeding your mind with more information right before sleep. Instead, prioritize rest for your mind as much as you do for your body. Reflect, let go, and create a space where your thoughts can settle. When you allow your mind to truly unwind, you'll wake up feeling more refreshed, focused, and ready to face whatever comes your way. You'll start to feel a shift not just in your energy, but in your relationships and your overall sense of well-being. Mental health isn't something you can ignore, especially not at night. It's the foundation for how you live your life. And once you start giving it the care it deserves, everything else will fall into place. But it doesn't end there. The wrong nighttime habits aren't just damaging your mind, they're impacting your body. It's the late-night snacks you didn't need, the last drink you thought you could handle before bed, the screen time that keeps your brain too active to rest. All these habits seem harmless, but they start affecting your sleep quality. You wake up the next morning feeling sluggish, tired, and groggy. It's a vicious cycle that only gets worse. The more you push your body to the limit during your nightly routine, the harder it becomes to feel refreshed in the morning. This isn't just about sleep, it's about the physical toll of mindless habits. Think about your evenings. You've probably noticed that the moment you fall into a routine, it becomes harder to break free. It feels comfortable, easy even. Maybe you grab a snack before bed, or have a drink to help you unwind. The problem is, these habits aren't just a quick fix. They build up, contributing to deeper issues that affect your health over time. Your body isn't just resisting sleep, it's also fighting against the negative effects of the food, drinks, or habits that you've incorporated into your nightly routine. Let's take a closer look at those late-night snacks. How often do you find yourself reaching for a bag of chips or some candy while watching TV before bed? It feels like a harmless indulgence, right? But the truth is, the foods we eat late at night affect our bodies in ways we don't realize. When you eat heavy, sugary, or fatty foods close to bedtime, you're giving your digestive system extra work to do while your body should be resting. Instead of allowing your body to naturally wind down and repair itself during sleep, your digestive system is busy processing food. This not only impacts the quality of your sleep, but can also lead to weight gain, increased fatigue, and even issues like acid reflux. If you think about the impact of eating too much or too late, you can already see how it starts to affect your next day. Instead of waking up feeling rested and ready to take on the day, you wake up feeling bloated, sluggish, or uncomfortable. You might even find yourself struggling to get through the day because your body is still trying to digest food that should have been processed hours ago. This is what happens when you ignore your body's natural rhythm and push it to continue working when it should be recovering. But it's not just about food. The habits you have before bed can influence your body's overall function. Alcohol, for instance, is another culprit that many men rely on to help them sleep. A nightcap may seem like a way to ease your mind and get into a restful state, but alcohol actually interferes with your sleep cycle. It might make you feel drowsy at first, but alcohol disrupts the deeper stages of sleep, especially REM sleep, which is essential for physical and mental restoration. If you're relying on alcohol to unwind, you're unknowingly robbing yourself of the restorative sleep you need to feel truly refreshed in the morning. Instead of waking up feeling restored, you might find yourself dragging through the day, more prone to irritability, and struggling to concentrate. Then there's the issue of screen time. It's something nearly everyone is guilty of. Staring at your phone, tablet, or TV until you can hardly keep your eyes open. You may tell yourself it's okay, it's relaxing, it's easy, but this habit is harming your body more than you realize. The blue light emitted from screens interferes with the production of melatonin, the hormone responsible for helping you fall asleep. By delaying the natural rise in melatonin levels, you're sending mixed signals to your body, making it harder to fall asleep when you want to. The longer you stay glued to a screen before bed, the more difficult it becomes for your body to switch off. The result? You spend more time trying to fall asleep, and even when you do, the quality of that sleep is compromised. You've probably had nights when you just couldn't seem to fall asleep, no matter how tired you were. That's because your body isn't able to relax fully, despite being exhausted from the day. Instead of winding down, your body is in a state of overstimulation, thanks to those late-night snacks, the drink, or the constant barrage of information from your phone or TV. And even if you do manage to drift off, your sleep is shallow and restless, leaving you feeling like you didn't get enough rest. The impact of this lack of quality sleep goes beyond just waking up feeling tired. Over time, this kind of chronic poor sleep can contribute to a range of health issues, both physical and mental. You might find yourself putting on weight, struggling with your immune system, or feeling moody and anxious. Your body simply isn't getting the chance to recharge and restore itself in the way it needs. You might not even recognize it at first, but this is how small, seemingly harmless habits pile up and impact your long-term health. And let's not forget the toll this takes on your energy levels. If you're waking up feeling drained and sluggish every day, you're probably relying on quick fixes to get through the day: more caffeine, more sugar, more distractions to keep you awake and alert. This is a dangerous cycle, as your body never truly gets the rest it needs. You may feel okay in the short term, but over time, this kind of reliance on quick fixes leads to burnout. You're not allowing your body to restore its natural energy reserves, and eventually that catches up to you. All of this starts in your nightly routine. It's easy to think that the way you wind down at the end of the day won't affect you in the long run. But it does. Every drink, every late-night snack, every minute you spend scrolling through your phone adds up. It's not just about getting to sleep. It's about how well you sleep and how you wake up the next day. When you constantly disrupt your body's natural rhythms with unhealthy habits, you're setting yourself up for a future of fatigue, frustration, and poor health. So what can you do about it? The answer lies in breaking these habits and making healthier choices at night. Start by cutting back on the late-night snacks and choosing healthier options that won't interfere with your digestion or sleep. If you enjoy a drink before bed, try swapping it for a relaxing herbal tea, which can help calm your mind without affecting your sleep. Reduce screen time an hour before bed to allow your body to naturally wind down. And most importantly, create a nighttime routine that truly supports your body's natural need for rest and recovery. By making small adjustments to your nighttime habits, you can start to feel the benefits almost immediately. You'll sleep more soundly, wake up feeling more refreshed, and notice a boost in your overall energy levels. It's about treating your body with the respect it deserves and giving it the space to restore itself each night. Your body isn't just your vessel through the day. It needs care and attention to keep running smoothly. If you want to avoid the tired, sluggish, and unhealthy future that comes from neglecting your nightly habits, it's time to start making the changes that will make a real difference in your life. Now let's talk about something a lot of men overlook: personal growth. By the time you've gone through your evening routine, most of the time left before sleep is filled with exhaustion or distractions. You want to learn a new skill, pick up a hobby, or work on your goals, but the hours just slip away. Before you know it, you've spent countless evenings winding down without ever taking the time to truly invest in yourself. This leaves you with the unsettling feeling that you're not moving forward. While others grow, you remain stagnant. You might even begin to feel like there's no time to work on what truly matters to you. It's not that you don't want to improve, grow, or learn something new. The problem is, your nightly routine has become a barrier to personal growth. You're caught in the cycle of distractions: mindless TV, social media, or the usual evening habits that make you feel like you're unwinding. But in reality, you're just passing the time. And by the time you're ready to go to sleep, the thought of working on something meaningful feels too tiring. Your energy is depleted from the day, and the drive to do anything other than relax seems like a distant memory. But here's the thing: your evening hours are a valuable opportunity to invest in yourself. The problem is, most men don't see it that way. Instead of viewing the time between the end of the workday and bedtime as a chance for self-improvement, they let it slip by in a haze of distractions. These hours are a blank canvas, a chance to take small steps toward personal growth, whether it's reading a book, learning a new skill, practicing mindfulness, or pursuing a passion project. Yet so many men let this time slip away, only to wake up and feel the regret of having wasted yet another evening. Think about this. When was the last time you picked up a book that challenged you, or worked on a project that excited you, or spent time reflecting on your goals? When you look back, does it feel like your evenings have been a time to recharge and grow, or just a way to disconnect from a day full of challenges? The unfortunate truth is that for many men, evenings become a time to turn off, instead of a time to truly turn up their potential. And over time, that can lead to feelings of stagnation, frustration, and dissatisfaction. You're caught in a loop where the promise of growth never comes to fruition because you're simply not making the time for it. This doesn't mean you need to overhaul your entire evening routine or spend hours on self-improvement projects. The key here is consistency. A small, dedicated effort each night can lead to significant progress over time. But if you continue to let your evenings slip away without considering your own growth, you're missing out on something important. Even 20 minutes a night of reading, journaling, or learning a new skill can make a world of difference. That time adds up, and eventually, you'll find yourself moving forward rather than staying stuck. But it's not just about the time you spend, it's also about the mindset you bring into that time. If you view your evenings as simply a way to get through the day or shut off, then that's exactly what will happen. You'll wake up feeling like you haven't moved the needle on your goals, and the cycle continues. However, if you approach your evenings with intention, recognizing them as an opportunity to grow, learn, and improve, you'll start to see your life shift in small but meaningful ways. For example, maybe you've always wanted to learn a new language, but after a long day, you feel too tired to commit. Instead of scrolling through social media or watching another episode of a series, what if you spent just 15 minutes practicing that new language? It's a small commitment, but over time, those 15 minutes will compound, and eventually you'll reach a level of fluency you never thought possible. Or perhaps you've wanted to start a side project, or build a new skill, but it always feels too overwhelming. What if you broke that goal down into small, manageable steps and spent 30 minutes each evening working toward it? Again, the time will add up, and before you know it, you'll be seeing progress in areas that once seemed out of reach. Personal growth isn't about making drastic changes overnight. It's about creating small, sustainable habits that push you forward every day. But when your evening routine is dominated by mindless distractions, you're not giving yourself the space to grow. Your goals, dreams, and passions get pushed aside for later, and later often never comes. The good news is that it's never too late to start. It's not about throwing everything out and starting from scratch. It's about making small, intentional changes to how you spend your evenings. Instead of seeing your evenings as time to shut off, try to see them as a chance to build the future you want. Even small improvements in your routine can make a huge difference in your overall sense of fulfillment and progress. As you start to incorporate time for personal growth into your evenings, you'll begin to feel more accomplished, more engaged with your life, and more in control of your future. Instead of waking up with that nagging feeling that you didn't do enough the night before, you'll feel a sense of satisfaction from knowing that you've taken one more step toward becoming the person you want to be. Your evenings will no longer be wasted hours, but a powerful part of your journey to self-improvement. So the next time you sit down after a long day and think about how you want to spend your evening, remember this: you have a choice. You can choose to stay in the cycle of distraction and stagnation, or you can choose to take small but meaningful steps toward growth. The path to personal development doesn't require drastic changes. It's the small, consistent actions that add up. And in time, you'll look back and be amazed at how far you've come, just by changing how you spend those precious evening hours. The worst part: many men think it's too late to change. They fall into the trap of believing their nightly routine is too entrenched to fix. But here's the truth: you can break free from that cycle. The idea that change is impossible only keeps you stuck in a loop of self-sabotage. You start to accept your bad habits as the way it is. You might even tell yourself, "This is just who I am now." But if you're truly honest with yourself, you'll realize that the only thing stopping you is the belief that it's too late to change. It's not too late, but you have to make the decision to stop giving in to those habits that hold you back. You might look back and think of all the nights you spent watching TV until your eyes closed, scrolling through social media until you were too tired to even think straight, or snacking late at night because it was the easiest way to relax. And then, it becomes this ever-growing mountain of regret, each night stacking on top of the last until it feels like there's no way to escape. It's like that feeling when you tell yourself you'll start working on something important tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. Over time, you tell yourself that tomorrow won't be any different, and you just keep falling deeper into the same routine. But the truth is, this isn't the way it has to be. You don't have to accept these bad habits as part of who you are. There's still time to change, and the best part is, you don't have to change everything all at once. It's about breaking the cycle, one small change at a time. But that starts with acknowledging that change is possible. and that you're the one who has the power to take control of your nightly routine. You may think that by now your routine is so ingrained that there's no way out. It's easy to convince yourself that it's too late for improvement. After all, you've been living this way for years. But the fact is, human behavior is far more adaptable than we realize. What seems like a deeply ingrained habit can be broken down and replaced with something healthier. The longer you stay stuck in the belief that it's too late to change, the more you close yourself off from the possibility of growth. The truth is, it's never too late to make a different choice for yourself. Let's talk about how this works in practice. For most men, the biggest barrier to change is the mental block that says, "This is just how it is." But consider this. Every time you tell yourself it's too late to change, you're reinforcing a belief that holds you back. You don't give yourself the chance to try something new or approach the evening in a different way. You're stuck in this mental loop, and the only way to break it is to challenge that thought and take a different approach. Change doesn't have to be overwhelming. You don't need to completely overhaul your evening routine overnight. Start by making one small adjustment and see where it takes you. If you currently spend an hour watching TV before bed, try cutting that time in half and replacing it with something that nourishes your mind or body. Maybe you could spend 30 minutes reading, writing, or stretching. Small, intentional shifts like this can make a huge difference over time. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. And as you make those small changes, you'll start to see that you have more control over your evenings, and by extension, your life. What you might not realize is that when you change just one small habit in your nightly routine, it has a ripple effect on other parts of your life. Let's say you decide to take a break from screen time an hour before bed. You might find that you sleep more deeply, wake up feeling more refreshed, and approach the next day with more energy. As you start to feel the benefits of that small change, you'll be more motivated to make even more positive changes. It's about building momentum. Once you see that something works, it encourages you to try something else, and soon you'll find yourself on a path to reclaiming your evenings. But it's not just about better sleep or more energy. Breaking out of your old nightly routine allows you to make space for what really matters to you. Whether it's pursuing personal growth, connecting with loved ones, or simply giving your mind a break from stress, those things won't happen if you keep feeding into habits that drain you. Once you make the decision to change, you're giving yourself the opportunity to prioritize what truly matters instead of staying stuck in the same routine that leaves you feeling empty. The good news is that change is within your reach. It doesn't matter how long you've been stuck in a rut, or how deeply ingrained your habits are. The moment you decide to take action and break free from the cycle is the moment you start to take back control of your evenings and your life. The key is to stop telling yourself that it's too late to change. Every small step you take brings you closer to the version of yourself you want to be. And with each change, you'll find that the things that once felt impossible to break free from start to lose their hold on you. Don't let yourself fall into the trap of believing that your routine is too entrenched to change. That's the lie that keeps you stuck. Instead, choose to embrace the power of small, consistent changes. Change is not only possible, it's within your control. You are not defined by your habits. You have the ability to redefine them. And once you do, you'll find that your nights and your life become something far more fulfilling. You've already taken the first step by recognizing that your current routine isn't serving you. Now take that awareness and turn it into action. Start small. Break the cycle. Challenge the belief that it's too late to change, and open yourself up to the possibility of growth. With every new choice, you're one step closer to a better, more empowered version of yourself. And the best part? It's never too late to start. The final, and perhaps most important, regret many men secretly carry is the loss of meaningful connection. As we age, the relationships we have with others can start to feel more distant. What many don't realize is that their nightly routines, filled with mindless distractions, are only amplifying this isolation. It's easy to retreat into your own world, away from friends and family, especially after a long, tiring day. But what starts as a brief escape can slowly snowball into full-blown loneliness, leaving you feeling disconnected not just from others, but from yourself. In today's world, it's easier than ever to retreat into the comfort of a screen. Whether it's scrolling through social media, watching endless TV shows, or browsing the internet. It's a form of escape that many men rely on to avoid the emotional weight of the day. In the short term, it feels like the perfect solution. It's a way to forget the pressures of work, family, and life. But in the long term, this constant avoidance of deeper connection leads to a slow erosion of your emotional bonds. And the longer you stay in this habit, the harder it becomes to break out of it. You tell yourself that it's easier this way, that a few hours in front of the TV or browsing the internet is enough to unwind and recharge. But what you're really doing is replacing the intimacy, the real human connection, with a facade of comfort. The sad reality is that many men find themselves in a pattern of nightly isolation without even realizing it. Sure, you may be surrounded by family or friends during the day, but when the evening comes, it's easy to slip into your own world, away from the people who truly matter. Instead of using the evening to reconnect, share a moment, or engage in meaningful conversation, you retreat into your own space, feeling disconnected despite being physically close to those around you. It's a form of loneliness that isn't obvious, but it can be incredibly damaging to your mental health. This loss of connection doesn't only apply to romantic relationships. It extends to friendships, family, and community. Men often begin to feel like they don't have time for relationships in the same way they used to. The late-night routines of mindless entertainment or solitary activities replace the opportunity to spend quality time with others. You may start to see this as a small, harmless thing. After all, you're just watching TV or checking your phone. But it's the emotional distance that forms from this behavior that's the real issue. Over time, this pattern of avoidance can lead to a profound sense of loneliness that you didn't even see coming. The issue isn't just about physical closeness, it's about emotional closeness, and that's something your nightly routine has the power to either nurture or destroy. In fact, the evening hours are some of the most important moments to bond with those around you. These are the moments when you can truly connect, whether it's sharing your thoughts with a partner, catching up with a friend, or simply spending time with family without distractions. But how often do you allow those moments to slip by, all in the name of unwinding? You may tell yourself that you're too tired for a deep conversation, or that you need the time to relax. But deep down, you know that the real connection, the kind that makes you feel truly seen and heard, is missing. And it's not just about spending time together, it's about being present in the moment, sharing in the small joys, and opening up about what really matters. When your nightly routine is filled with distractions, there's no room for that kind of meaningful exchange. The loss of connection doesn't just affect your relationships, it starts to affect your sense of purpose. Humans are inherently social creatures, and the connections we build with others are a crucial part of our mental and emotional well-being. When you begin to isolate yourself in the evenings, you lose touch with the people who ground you and help you navigate life's challenges. Over time, this can lead to feelings of emptiness and unfulfillment. You might find yourself wondering why you feel so tired or drained, despite the hours of rest you're getting. The truth is, you may be neglecting the one thing that really recharges you, real human connection. But here's the thing, it's never too late to rebuild those connections. Just because you've gotten used to a solitary routine, doesn't mean you can't change course. It starts with being intentional about how you spend your evenings. Instead of defaulting to the mindless distractions that keep you emotionally distant, start creating space for the people who matter. Whether it's carving out time to connect with a spouse, calling up an old friend, or simply sitting down for a quiet meal with your family, these small acts of connection can have a profound impact on your mental and emotional health. Think about the last time you had a conversation with someone that made you feel truly seen. Maybe it was a heart-to-heart with your partner, a funny chat with a close friend, or a meaningful exchange with a family member. Those moments of connection are what make life truly fulfilling, and they can be built into your evening routine. By prioritizing time with others, even just for a few minutes, you start to cultivate a deeper sense of intimacy and belonging. The more you make this a regular part of your routine, the less you'll rely on those distractions that distance you from the people you care about. And it's not just about your immediate relationships. Building stronger social connections can also help you feel more engaged with your community. When you start to prioritize connection, you may find that you're more inclined to join a group, attend social events, or volunteer. These are all ways to create bonds that extend beyond your inner circle, helping you feel more connected to the world around you. The bottom line is that true connection requires effort. It's easy to get stuck in the cycle of distractions, telling yourself that it's easier to be alone, or that you don't have the energy for deep connections. But the more you make time for the people who truly matter, the more you'll begin to feel that sense of fulfillment and emotional satisfaction. It's about being present, showing up, and taking the time to nurture those relationships that bring meaning and joy to your life. So as you reflect on your nightly routine, ask yourself, are you really connecting with the people around you? Or have distractions become your default? If it's the latter, it's time to make a change. Reclaim your evenings and invest in the relationships that matter. The more you prioritize connection, the more you'll see the positive impact it has on your mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. It's time to stop letting your nightly routine rob you of the most important thing in life, the people who make it worth living. Now that you're aware of the 7 regrets that have shaped so many men's lives, it's time to reflect on where you stand. Are you moving through life with energy and purpose, or have you noticed the subtle signs of neglect creeping into your own routine? These signs aren't just warnings, they're opportunities. Opportunities to reassess, to reframe, and to reclaim the nights that have for so long been filled with mindless distractions. The truth is, your nightly routine plays a massive role in shaping your life, and the good news is that you have the power to change it at any moment. It's easy to look back and feel regret over past choices, especially when it comes to something as intimate as your routine. But here's the thing, regret only has the power to hold you back if you let it. The past is gone, and the future is still unwritten. What matters now is what you decide to do with the present. The choices you make today, in the quiet moments of your evening, will determine the life you live tomorrow. So what's stopping you from taking control of your nights, and in turn, taking control of your life? It's easy to get stuck in the routine of "I'll start tomorrow" or "it's too late for me to change now." But those thoughts are nothing more than excuses. The reality is that it's never too late to shift your habits, to start making small changes, and to build a new routine that actually serves you. Every small adjustment you make, every decision to break free from those ingrained habits, adds up. Over time, those seemingly insignificant changes will lead to a ripple effect in every other area of your life. The good news is, you don't have to overhaul everything all at once. Start small, start with just one change and build from there. The key is consistency. Even a slight shift in your nightly routine, if done consistently, can make a dramatic difference in the way you feel, the way you sleep, and the way you experience the world around you. One of the most powerful changes you can make is simply to become more mindful of how you spend your evenings. Ask yourself, what am I doing with my time? Am I spending it in a way that brings me closer to my goals, or am I filling it with distractions that leave me feeling drained and disconnected? It's easy to think that we need endless hours of entertainment or mindless scrolling to unwind, but what we really need is rest. Rest for the body, the mind, and the soul. True relaxation doesn't come from passive distractions. It comes from giving your mind the space to process the day, to reflect, and to connect with what truly matters to you. It's about creating a routine that restores you, both mentally and physically, so that you can wake up tomorrow feeling refreshed, energized, and ready to take on the world. So how do you begin making those changes? Start by rethinking the way you unwind at night. Rather than falling into old habits of watching TV or scrolling through your phone, replace those activities with something that serves your well-being. Maybe it's reading a book that inspires you, writing in a journal to process your thoughts, or engaging in a light stretching routine to relieve physical tension. It doesn't have to be a huge commitment. Just 15 or 20 minutes of intentional activity can make a big difference in how you feel. Another simple but powerful change is to prioritize better sleep. We often underestimate the importance of quality rest, but it's one of the most crucial factors in maintaining both mental and physical health. If your nights are filled with distractions, your body isn't getting the restorative sleep it needs to function at its best. Poor sleep can lead to fatigue, irritability, and decreased focus, and over time it can have a serious impact on your overall health. So make a commitment to sleep better. Set a bedtime, limit screen time before sleep, and create a relaxing environment that promotes rest. These small changes can help you feel more alert, focused, and energized the next day. Let's talk about something else that's often overlooked: the importance of real human connection in the evenings. As mentioned earlier, so many men fall into the trap of isolation during their nightly routine, thinking that distractions will provide the escape they need. But the truth is, connection is what truly helps us recharge. It's the bonds we share with others, whether it's a conversation with a partner, a chat with a friend, or a meaningful moment with a family member, that nourish us emotionally. If you've been neglecting these connections, now is the time to change that. Instead of retreating into your own space, make an effort to connect with the people who matter to you. It doesn't have to be a long conversation. It could be as simple as sharing a moment over dinner, or sitting down together to watch a show. The key is to make those moments intentional and meaningful. Rebuilding these connections doesn't just improve your relationships, it improves your mental health. Studies have shown that social connections are directly linked to better emotional well-being and even longevity. People who engage in meaningful relationships tend to live longer, healthier lives. So make it a priority to spend quality time with others, even if it's just for a few minutes each evening. Those small moments of connection will pay off in ways you can't even imagine. Finally, let's talk about self-compassion. So many men are hard on themselves when they realize they've been stuck in a negative routine for so long. It's easy to feel discouraged and think that it's too late to make a change. But the truth is, it's never too late. You are not defined by your past habits. You are defined by what you choose to do now. Be kind to yourself during this process. Change takes time, and there will be setbacks along the way. But each small step you take is progress. Each time you choose to break free from a negative habit, you're moving closer to the person you want to be. Start by taking a moment to reflect on what you truly want from your evenings. What would you like to experience before you close your eyes each night? Do you want to feel relaxed, refreshed, and recharged? Do you want to feel connected to the people around you? Do you want to wake up tomorrow feeling energized and focused? These are all achievable goals, and they start with the choices you make tonight. As you move forward, remember that change is a journey, not a destination. It's about making small adjustments to your routine that align with your goals and values. By starting with just one or two simple changes, you can begin to experience the benefits of a more intentional evening routine. And over time, those small changes will add up to a life that feels more connected, energized, and fulfilling. The good news is, you have the power to transform your evenings, and in turn, transform your life. The decision to change starts with you. So as you look ahead to tomorrow, ask yourself, what small change can I make tonight that will help me feel better tomorrow? What step can I take to start creating the life I truly want? The answers to those questions are in your hands, and the journey begins tonight.